For the very first time, Canada is proposing their very first incentive for electric cars of 5,000 Canadian dollars. We know some provinces have done this before, but as far as nationwide for Canada, this is the first. Great news, except for they decided to snub Tesla and they have a cutoff at, I believe, 25,000 Canadian dollars. Is this on purpose? Why would you do that to the, essentially the electric car leaders? We've seen this happen in Germany before, but that's Germany. This is Canada. Let's talk about it. There are some interesting positives and negatives in the story for sure, so I'll tell you all about it coming up next.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric!
Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here and you are thirsty for daily scoop of all electric car goodness, you came to the right place. All you have to do is smash that subscribe button and you will never have to worry about it ever again. As long as I'm on YouTube and like alive and not in a coma or whatever. So it's a good deal. And also, I think most importantly, you become a part of this community. And that's in itself a treat. This is a really, really cool community. All right. Let's talk about Canada. So I would say the country is obviously less capitalist than us here in the United States, more socialist, but not as socialist in Europe, right? So when they do these things, it's a little different. Now, we know that some of their provinces provided electric car rebates, and I believe Ontario was at. Now I should really prepare for those videos. One of the provinces was providing great a rebate, and then the new, more conservative governor, again. Maybe not governor, but the guy in charge, decided to just basically cut it off, and they did it in a really ugly way. But they're proposing now on the national level, and I have to say, like, I've read quite a few different stories on this and articles and press releases, and I don't know if this is going to be like a tax rebate like we have here in the United States, or it's just going to be a rebate where you just send a check to people. Now, hopefully it passes, and it looks like it should, but what they're doing is they're doing a cutoff, and again, a lot of the countries have done it, at 45,000 Canadian dollars. So if you're buying a car more expensive than that, well, you get nothing. Well, funny that $47,000 is the cheapest Model 3 that's being sold in Canada. So therefore, they're cutting out the entire Tesla brand out of this deal. Well, yeah, granted, they're also cutting out the entire Audi's brand and Porsche's brand out of this deal. But I guess the question is, the first adopters are usually people with money, right? Remember the iPhone was like $600, I think, which was like unheard of, and you had to pay cash, where everybody else would just be on like a monthly bill or whatever, and phones were free. It was basically people with money who bought those and paved the way for everybody else, where you can now get those iPhones for like nothing, and then you just make smaller monthly payment. But somebody had to pay for it. So to me, the electric car revolution, just like any tech revolution, is about people who are dishing out the money for the technology that costs a lot. So the question is, should they get the same privileges, the same discounts as everybody else, or is this very socialist distribution of money, and people who cannot afford it should be able to? That would be another argument. So let's talk about it a little bit, and then we go into positives and negatives. But before that, I want to remind you guys that this video on this channel is sponsored by Accelerate Audio. A great extended service contract with up to 125,000 miles, only $100 deductibles, and also just for you guys, they've provided $100 off for your X-Care service. You can find it in the description of this video. Also, the link to where apply for it. It's different in different states, especially if you live in California. Check it out. Click on the right link in the description of this video. But thank you to Accelerate Auto for sponsoring this channel. All right, let's talk about what this really kind of means for Tesla, owners, and if it's really fair. Again, I believe that anybody who is dishing out their money, independently how much money they make, should be able to get the same amount of money back if that's the rebate, because rebate is coming from the pile where people who make more money put it more into it, right? So people who make more money, they put more money into that into the taxes when they pay for it. So when it's time to use that taxes to advance, for example, environment and technology, Well, the people who put in the most should at the very least get the equal amount of back. They're already not getting proportionally the money back, but at least getting something back. But in this case, they're not going to, it looks like. On the other hand, obviously the argument is that, well, the news technology, we want people, the best way to adopt it is to have as many people as possible adopting it. So when the government provides help, it should be people who cannot afford the new technology. So those are two, kind of schools of thoughts, and I'm interested to know what you guys think. Which school of thought do you belong to and why? Definitely let me know in the comment section. But for now, let's talk about positives and negatives. All right, so obviously positives is going to be easier to buy electric cars in Canada if this one passes, and obviously I'm all for it. I think that's a great idea, and I think it's long overdue. I'm actually surprised they haven't done it at this point. So that's been disappointing, but hopefully now they can correct that mistake. So that's good. And also it will give maybe unfair advantage, and not maybe an unfair kind of advantage to Chevy Bolts and Nissan Leafs. But again, they're targeting people who don't make as much money, so that's another positive, right? So people who are maybe wouldn't be able to afford it, and trying to buy a car that's maybe $35,000 American dollars, translated to Canadian dollars, that would really help them out, and they would be able to afford the cars that are not Teslas, but the cheaper cars, the cheaper versions of electric cars. And I guess that might just be the whole point, is that, like, well, okay, they're already not buying Teslas, so at least we can help them out with whatever cars they are buying and help them out. But on the other side, and I guess that's where we're going to go negatives, which I kind of already mentioned, that it's unfair to Tesla and Tesla owners and people who some people who don't make as much money and still want to help the environment or be part of this electric car revolution, or they're excited about the brand, and yet they're going to be they're not going to be able to do this. If anything, my suggestion would be to, if you want to do the socialist kind of a way of doing that, and I don't mean socialism in a bad way. I mean, I'm from Russia myself, so I do have some appreciation of that. At least make it look like based it on the income. Here in California, I believe you don't get a $2,500 rebate if you make more than $150,000, and you do if you make less. So it's kind of a tied into your income, which is a little bit more fair. So if anything, I would probably suggest that we do that. All right, guys. Well, what do you think? Especially if you live in Canada, I'd like to know, what do you think? Is this going to help? Do you think that Tesla should have been included? Up to what amount? Like, for example, maybe the $35,000, the standard battery version of Tesla Model 3 would be just, it's affordable electric car enough to still make the cut. So maybe like 50 or 55,000 Canadian dollars would have been the cut. Do you think the government did it on purpose? Do you think your government kind of specifically wanted not exclude Tesla from this deal? Let me know in the comment section. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged. Whew.